Congratulations, you made it to the end of our Bible study. Are you sick of me or what? We made it, guys. This is it. The final video in our Bible study on Matthew 7, where Jesus says, "Depart from me, I never knew you." Now, here's the point. It got exhausting. We did 16 different videos because my point is I wanted to go hard on you guys on Matthew's chapter 5 and chapter 6 because Jesus, it's his first public sermon. Matthew 5, 6, and 7 is Jesus having one conversation. He's having one conversation. It's one sermon, and he ends it with this analogy, and he says, there will be so many of you who say, "I do signs and wonders in your name, Jesus. I've done all these things for you." And Jesus goes, "I never knew you, workers of iniquity." Now, the verse right after this, Jesus says, "But he who hears the words that I'm saying and does them, your house will be like a house that's built on a good, solid foundation. But if you hear the words that I said to you and you ignore them, you're on shaky ground. You've started your house off with a foundation that's on sand." And then he goes on to say, when the winds come and the testing comes, your house will be shaken and your fall will be great. What Jesus is saying in Matthew 7 about "Depart from me, I never knew you" is because he's saying so many people, and I've been in this now for 13 years with Jesus. For 13 years, I've watched so many people get saved, they love God, but then they get busy doing works for God. Life weighs them down, and they actually get disillusioned, and it's because they ignored all of the hard heart realities of Matthew 5 and 6. Jesus is saying what it truly means to be a believer is these kind of things. It's forgiving your enemies. It's not carrying bitterness in your heart. It's being generous with your finances. It's not being greedy. And we went down the line, didn't we, in Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. Point being, guys, is so many Christians don't want to hear this message. They say, I know, and they neglect it, and they find themselves 20 years, 30 years on the road. Their hearts are bound up. They're full of junk. They're full of stuff because they didn't choose to do Matthew 5, which is the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus says some will even have ministries and do all kinds of works in my name, but their integrity will be off. They won't do these hard heart realities, and I'll tell them, that's great, you did a lot of works in my name, and I used you, but you failed to do the hard heart realities, and so I'm saying, depart from me, I never knew you. But the good news is, if you're failing or struggling in those areas, it doesn't mean you're disqualified. It means you live a repented lifestyle, and you fall 10 times, and you get back up, and you keep going. But keep Matthew 5 and 6 as the utmost priority of how you live your life, and that is what is successful as a believer. Thank you guys for running alongside of me. I hope this was encouragement.